right, ready? Okay. Welcome to Gematria Goodies. I want to cover a cultural subject today, not directly biblical, but there's a principle that we can learn from it. The Jews have a tradition regarding the festival of Purim. If you read the book of Esther, you find that wine is very much involved with Purim. The Persians evidently were really heavy drinkers. If you study the history of ancient Persia, evidently that was one of the characteristics of the rulers of that empire, is that they really drank a lot of wine, evidently. And wine is very much associated with if you read it, with the book of Esther. And there's a Jewish tradition which is based upon a very interesting development or linguistic characteristic of the Hebrew language, and it involves the liturgy of Purim. See, on Purim, Jews recite Baruch Mordechai, blessed is Mordechai, and Arur Haman, cursed is Haman, the villain of the account. And he wanted to exterminate the entire Jewish people. Wow. He's a true villain, and he was dealt with, executed, as you know. Mordechai, of course, is the hero of the account, although Esther very much is the heroine of the account, the one who risks her life to save her people. But if you're talking about men now rather than women, talking about men, we have Baruch Mordechai and Arur Haman. Blessed is Mordecai and cursed is Haman. Well, it so happens that let's look at the numerical value of those phrases. First, let's look at Baruch Mordechai. You have Bet, which is 2, Resh, which is 200, Vav, which is 6, and Chaf, which is 20. All right, then you have Mordechai. Mem is 40, Resh is 200, Dalet is 4, Kaf is 20, and Yud is 10. If you add it up all together, you're going to come up with 502. So Baruch Mordechai equals 502. Now let's go to Arur Haman. It's very interesting. Arur, you have Aleph is 1, Resh is 200, Vav is 6, Resh is 200. That's the first word, Arur, cursed. Then you have Haman. He is 5, Mem is 40, Nun is 50. And again, if you add it all up, it's going to be 502. So in Gematria, cursed it be Haman and blessed be Mordecai actually have the same numerical value, although they are opposite in terms of purpose. So the rabbis, interestingly, had this tradition that one should drink enough alcohol on Purim, drink enough wine, so that you can't tell the difference between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordecai, or blessed is Mordecai and cursed is Haman. You drink so much you can't tell the difference. And it's based upon the fact that they have the same numerical value. Well, you might wonder, how did we observe that among the ultra-Orthodox Jews with whom I lived when I was a young man? The way we did it was we drank a little more wine than we usually would. It made us drowsy enough that we went to sleep. And of course, when you're asleep, you don't know the difference between blessed is Mordecai and cursed is Haman. So that's how we observed that. We drank a little more wine than normal so that we'd get sleepy, and that's how we observed that particular point. But it's interesting, though, because there's a principle to keep in mind there. In order for Mordecai to be blessed, in other words, in order for God's people to be blessed, those who are wicked need to be cursed. We cannot have a coexistence of righteousness and wickedness. Ultimately, the incorrigible are a threat to themselves and to others. And so ultimately, when the entire history of the world comes to its climax, when God's plan is complete, his people will be blessed forever. They will live forever as spirit beings, sharing eternity with God. But the wicked, the incorrigible wicked, will be cursed forever. Because they will simply go out of existence. They will be annihilated, and they will be completely out of existence. And so indeed, the way history will conclude, we need to understand that there will be both Baruch Mordechai and Arur Haman, that the incorrigible will be annihilated, but those who are in harmony with God's way of life will be blessed for all eternity.